So we are talking about how to win in modern search because everybody on the planet is an expert in that right now, including all of us, right? Yeah, we're all experts in how to win in modern search. Yeah, for sure. No, none of us are experts. I said this, I was in a conversation just a little bit ago that I think anybody thinking about SEO, well, SEO, there's some experts, but GEO, AEO specifically is all just 6 months ahead of the last person, right? The experts are just 6 months ahead. So we've got some incredible humans right here that I'll get to introduce in a second that are thinking about this, that are operating in this right now. And if you have a drink, don't actually pour it out, but pour it out for poor Elizabeth. She couldn't be here. She was sick, and she's like the most wonderful energy. And so we're really sad that she couldn't be here. But let's go ahead and do this. We'll start with Gary, move to Tina. Go ahead and introduce yourself. A little bit about what you do and the company that you work for, and then we'll get into it.
I'm Gary.
Whoa. Oh, hit the mic. Right down there at the bottom. Down there at the bottom.
Can you hear me? I'm Gary Ledoux. I'm the marketing director at Modern Automotive in North Carolina. We're a 17-store dealer group. I run all the marketing operations there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christina Cuatto, a VP of Product and UX at DealerOn's. So I run a team of product managers, and we look to solve dealer and customer problems.
Awesome. All right. So, Gary, I think when we had our panel prep call, you had just gotten out of a meeting where basically the thesis of that meeting was, Gary, I searched on GPT and I didn't show up. Why didn't you make that happen? What's that reality right now, and how much are you getting hit with as a marketing director on like, but I need to show up in GPT?
It happens pretty randomly, but almost every week at this point. You know, somebody at a store says something, and then we get an email or a call, and it's like, how come we're not showing up in LLMs? And I'm like, well, it's not a search bar. It's not the same thing. It doesn't operate the same way, and you probably are showing up. You just don't see it yourself for that particular, whatever it is you searched for or chatted with.
I remember the day that I decided to remove the IP lock that I had on our dealership on Google search, right? I had said, no, I don't want anybody to hit the paid search, and I needed to because my dealer principal needed to see himself show up in search. But like you just said, search is altogether different in these agents. And even though SEO and GEO are related, it's a much different process. Can you explain a little bit about that, Tina? Like, why is it different for basically every user?
Yeah, I mean, I would look and say it's very similar. Its foundational layer is very similar. There's technical structure, there's site authority, there's trustworthy content, and it's your brand reputation too. And those are kind of those fundamentals of SEO that are really important in a GEO world too. I like to think that GEO is kind of a layer on top of your SEO strategy. So there's shared commonalities, but some differences too. And some of those differences being the breadth of content that you have on your site, because those large language models are looking to have a conversation with the consumer who asks the question. So you need a little bit more content to get that first answer and second answer and third to have that conversation.
So on the content, Gary, you're really thinking about that. What's kind of that shift that dealers need to be thinking about in how they might need to be communicating, or what additional they need to be doing that they weren't thinking about when it was just an SEO game?
There's a lot to unpack there. Yeah, I mean, so your content strategy isn't necessarily keyword driven anymore. I mean, I feel like we've gotten away from, just like keyword stuffing strategy anyways. Like Google has kind of forced that in the last couple of years with all of their updates. But it's not just about what you have on your site, but I think it's also about how you show up everywhere else too. What kind of digital authority you're creating across all of your websites, and those websites can be dealer sites or any other things that you have that you're putting your brand on. So it just has to be real content, for lack of a better word. It needs to be real content.
Yeah, I think it's forcing, it's interesting. It's more agentic, but it's forcing a more human reality with the content, even more than Google's been asking for a while.
Yeah.
Tina, before we go much further, what's the reality of AI search right now? What is it actually delivering to dealers' websites? How much visibility do they actually get? And what's the traffic look like? Are we getting a lot? Is it growing? What's the trend?
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing, and I think we've heard it in other sessions throughout the past couple of days, it's a fraction of a percent that is actually being AI referred traffic back onto websites. And that's what we're seeing through Dealer on Network data as well. But that traffic that is coming onto your site from AI refer sources is highly engaged and converting at a much higher rate than non-AI referred traffic.
Why is that? Why is it converting at a higher rate?
Yeah, I mean, I think my point of view is that they've done a lot of their upfront research already. They're coming to your website with the car in mind, or they've already kind of walked through multiple steps in that research process before getting onto your site. And so they're ready to convert. I think that's, my best assumption at this point.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. We're going to build like foundation through to like focus areas. I'll start with you, Tina. What are the core base level requirements foundationally, technically, that if you don't have, like, it's a non-starter, you can't even build on top of that? Yeah,
absolutely. So table stakes, I think, as a website provider, and something that we really do well at Dealer On, is having that structured data and schema. So you really want to make sure that your website vendor has auto dealer schema and local business focused. Your VDPs should have product and vehicle data as well, because all of that metadata is going to be easily read by not only search engines like Google and Bing for indexing, but also for large language models. I would also say the robots.txt file, it's kind of that guide that allows for indexing of the website, and that's also important for large language models. LMS.txt files, that's kind of an emerging practice as well, but that is a guide where you can kind of tell the large language model, these are the core pages that you should pay attention to. Maybe here are things to stay away from. It's really just a guide for the large language model.
Okay, go one step deeper on, you went a little bit deeper on like schema, but robots.txt, give us like, go slightly more nerd and maybe nerd to layman's, like what's in a robots.txt? Because I think everybody maybe knows what a sitemap is. They've always had a robots.txt because all the website providers do it, but now everybody's keyed into it. Like, what's listed in there and why?
Yeah, I think what's really important in the robots file is it has allows and disallows of certain URLs to look at. And that's how those URLs are indexed through search engines like Google and Bing. The other really important part is allowing bots, which has become more important. I think, Dealer On maybe about 12 to 18 months ago opened up for AI bots like Perplexity and OpenAI in order for those bots to crawl that file and essentially, have it index or be visible for large language models. So I would really encourage, for dealers in the room to ask their website provider, have you opened up, my website to be crawled by some of these bots? If not, then you're definitely not going to be visible when you search for yourself in ChatGPT.
And we can define that, right? Like you can go to the provider and say, these are the bots that I want to allow.
Yeah, you certainly can.
Yeah,
find out who they're blocking or not blocking, right?
Yeah, historically, that robots.txt, there was essentially like the field of thought, like, hey, allow all search engines, but disallow all bots because most of it was malicious.
Absolutely.
And so now you have to be a lot more clear with that because there are still malicious bots that, especially website providers that are managing millions and millions of visitors a month, need to be sure that they're not, getting hit with bot attacks and things like that. But now you have to let the trusted ones through, right?
Yeah, let the good bots in, keep the bad bots out.
Yeah. Gary, actually, we'll double click on that for just a second and then come back to the LLMS.txt. But
I have thoughts on that.
What's that on the LLMS?
Yes, I have questions.
You have questions? You just want to ask the question?
Can
I just ask the question?
No. There are schools of thought that we should or shouldn't be allowing these bots, these good bots, into the dealer's website. From your perspective as a dealer, are you going, please let them in, or is there some reservation?
I don't really have reservation around it because I don't know that we have any kind of information, any kind of data that says it will be bad or good yet, right? Like Perplexity traffic from bots or OpenAI traffic from bots. Like I don't know yet, But
That's fair.
and my logical brain is like, well, yeah, of course we should start doing that.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And then let's see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, ask your question.
My question is really around the LLMS text file because like some of this is very new to me, like it is I think to a lot of people. So like as you build out in that file, hey LLMs, here's the URLs you should pay attention to. Like how robust should that be? Like should we be listing every URL, like every page that we have, and make it as full as possible, or not?
So there's two versions that DealerOn supports and that can be supported. Just your basic LMS TXT file, and then the full version to use the term. And with the full version, you can be as verbose as you want, right? State the URL, state what content is on that page too. You can be conversational in that file as well. It's just a markdown, text file. So I would encourage to be as explicit as possible because that's only going to get that information over to the large language models. I would caution, though, from what we know, Perplexity is the only one of kind of the major LLMs that is looking at it right now. So it is still an emerging practice.
Yeah, it's still emerging. And just to make sure, like it's not a replacement for your sitemap. Actually, the LMS file .txt file should point to your sitemap as a map to go there. But the other thing that it can point to, and that Perplexity has said, is references. So if you have other sites, or if you don't clear, like if for some reason your schema doesn't have your Facebook profile and your Twitter profile or your X profile doing that, if you've got a blog site that's on a subdomain that can't be crawled in that sitemap, point the LLM to it, right? Those are some of the things that are encouraged there. But again, yeah, it's very early on whether or not that's even being used. All right, so that's the technical foundation. Let's talk about you've kind of got two streams going on, a content stream, and then you've got a local stream. Talk about how you're thinking about these two streams that are laying on top of the technical checklist.
Yeah, so a lot of this is kind of hypothesis, right? Like I see what's happening, and I'm thinking to myself, we really need to expand our digital footprint. So how do we do that? We have a really big community outreach initiative with Modern. We call it Modern Makes a Difference. And we have a lot of community partners that, will put our logo on their site. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's take that up a notch. Like instead of just having a logo on the site, have that logo linked to something that we write, and it resides on that partner's site, and we backlink it back to us. We link to them. We were having conversations about building a website just for Modern Makes a Difference. So that's just another piece of digital authority. And I think there's something to be said about kind of trying to implement a little more of an old school public relations strategy. Everybody knows I spent a lot of time outside of automotive in different industries, and it was just a very different world. It wasn't so low funnel performance marketing. It was brand marketing. And I think there is an opportunity for dealers to kind of step into that mindset a little bit and work at a very localized level with radio outlets and TV outlets, journal outlets that have digitized websites, and work to create content and get it on those sites so that you expand your footprint even further. And it doesn't hurt to just push out a press release for anything you're doing. There's something interesting happening at the store, put it in a press release and just push it out there, because you just never know when you're going to get placement on something, and that placement, even though it's temporary, right? But it does live on the internet, and it's just another source for the LLMs to see your visibility.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to help your SEO as well. But we're just seeing that much more like citation based, signals based. Actually, I had someone ask me one time. They were like, "Hey, you're a media company. Do you know how to get an article on Wikipedia?" Because Wikipedia and Reddit are two of the most highly cited sources for authoritative content on the web right now. So you can get on an article on Wikipedia about your dealership, but you have to run a PR strategy, just so you know. Like, that is the strategy to get on Wikipedia. Well, there's also a strategy for Reddit. It's a PR strategy. You have to be talked about in your local market and have subreddits written on you. So an amazing strategy there.
Purely hypothetical at this point.
It is hypothetical. Look, we're all just
we're just trying things, right? And we think we know what might increase your chances of being visible in LLMs. I think the other big point to add is that everyone's ChatGPT Gemini instance is more personalized for them. So we really don't know exactly what everyone's seeing.
Yep. In relation to that, you guys are building something that has like kind of an inference model built around whether or not you are being seen. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you're designing toward giving some visibility? You know, some of these like SEMrush, Ahrefs, and others are doing similar, but what are you guys building right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've built a product right now in beta called On Prompt, and it is a way to monitor and track prompts for your brand and then see, estimated visibility scores and how you show up across different models like ChatGPT, AI overviews, within Grok or Gemini, you name it. We can support different models, and we are basically sending all of those prompts on a daily basis and collecting the responses and then building out a dashboard so that you can see trends, you can track competitor visibility as well. But again, it is still, an estimate because we don't know exactly what Gary's response is or what my response came back as, right? It is as if, we were just sending, scripted prompts over to these large language models and collecting it back.
Yeah, kind of hitting the API and seeing what returns. Yeah, yep. Which I think is a good start. Just so you know, I've got the app pulled up. There's already a question in there. Feel free, hop in there, ask questions. All three of us can answer. I've got a little bit of opinion on this too. So if you have questions on this, jump in, ask them. I'll get to them here in about 3 or 4 minutes. All right. When you think about traditional SEO, let's go back because we still want to win in modern search, and Google and YouTube are still a massive piece of this entire puzzle and pie. What are the things, Tina, that you're seeing that are really great crossover mechanisms to make sure you're showing up in both places?
Yeah, that's a good question. So transparently, my background is not in SEO, but I think what I'm seeing so far is that dealers that do have a very solid SEO strategy are showing up and being more visible in some of the prompts that we're tracking right now from a GEO standpoint. So content is still very, very valuable, and having educational pages, blog pages, right? Some of those, blogs that you maybe haven't looked at in a while, or you kind of forgot about your blog strategy, I would refocus attention there. And how do you localize your content? Because I know a ton of OEMs push content down to the dealers, but how do you still make it local for your market? Putting in your value proposition so that you are increasing your chances when a shopper's going into ChatGPT or Gemini and looking for a specific vehicle or has a question around service, right? I'm hearing this clunky noise and I want to know, how do I fix this, or where do I go to fix this? What's a reputable dealership in my area? You want your dealership to be recommended in their response. So I think it just comes back to content.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to start with the first question, and then I've got something, and I'll clarify the question and make sure that I've got where you're headed here. But as bot activity increases across the web, what's your approach to working with vendors to balance security verification with a seamless customer experience? So, hey, can other vendors that are attempting to understand what's going on to the site, maybe some of these AI vendors that are acting as bots, but also making sure that they have great customer experiences, what's your integration, specifically for DealerOn? How are you thinking about integrating with partners to make sure that they have the data that they need that the website has?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're definitely getting a lot of more questions from vendors around how, or even dealers themselves too, how can I get my data out in an easy way, whether it's an API that they can connect with to get it into my system, because then I want to, layer on top AI to do my own analysis and things like that. I would say every case is unique. Every vendor we work with is unique, but we do have a really good process through our partnership program and marketplace. So I would just say, definitely connect with me and we can find a solution.
the marketplace is really cool too, by the way. That's like unbiased opinion right there. I'll give you something. I've been giving this to a lot of people. Cloudflare is kind of a big network provider out there in the world. And one of the things that you can look at, they've built something called Is It Agent Ready? So isitagentready.com is a place where you can go and say, hey, look, what about my site is well structured and what isn't. The other thing that I'll tell you is I don't care if you're with DealerOn, Dealer.com, Dealer Inspire, Dealer eProcess, Dealer Alchemist, whatever is out there, everybody's learning. Like, nobody's got it perfect. Again, to the LMS.txt, it's not something that's required out there. But doing the most that you possibly can, working with your partner to be as proficient as you possibly can, so that when things are adopted, amazing, right? There's new protocols being written almost weekly for this stuff, and nobody has a clear picture. But to like build great web content, build great offsite content that links you to relevant is the way to go. There is oh boy, y'all started hitting me. All right, does on-prompt collect and surface negative LLM citations, e.g. things like Reddit posts right now, or no? It's fine if you say no.
It's surfacing any citations from the responses back. So we are seeing a lot of responses being cited from Reddit. Sorry?
What's that?
When will that stop? Oh, I don't control the large language models.
Oh,
so
negative citations?
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either.
So OpenAI, when they first released GPT, like Reddit was like one of the top 5 citations that they had. It's not any longer. I think it's down to like 30th or something. Is Chad here? Chad's here. So we sat in a session with Reunion weeks ago, and they gave us a whole overview on this, and that's kind of accurate, right? Reddit 28. There you go. So it's the 28th ranked citation that OpenAI uses right now, but it's still very relevant. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere.
I think it also just casts like a wider net so that you understand what people are talking about your brand, right? I know there was another session around reputation management, and I think that is a huge part of your visibility and your sentiment within large language models. So I think taking a focus back and really looking at how you show up in reviews and that reputation management piece, and that can go to Reddit as well.
Gary, you've been working over the last 6 months to push just an insane amount of content across all of your rooftops. What content is winning? There's this question, other than blogs and PR, what content should we focus on to show up for LLMs? But just in your general content strategy, what type of content are you seeing that is really winning in the search and LLM game?
Yeah, I mean, so we, you guys have probably saw Horizon. We use Horizon for SEO content creation. And Will, who's over here in the audience, he's our SEO guy. He's a monster. He's creating content driven by search volume. So you're kind of taking a mix of like old school search strategy and using it to support future AI strategy. Like the technical build out and the schema and everything on the page is all, solid, foundational. But, Horizon's driven by SEMrush and search volume too. And they bring out that bubble chart that shows you all the stuff people are searching for. So we've been loading up blog content in a really big way. And we're doing a lot of model comparison pages and new model pages. And I think all of those things combined is really what's making the difference. So if we start at the highest level, like our organic traffic is up on all of our sites, but you can dig down, to what is the one that is getting the most time on site or delivering the most clicks. It tends to be some type of model content. And I don't mean like an overview. I mean, like it could be, what kind of leather is used in an F-150.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything down to the model and what specific content there. This question, I'll if you guys can raise your hand if you want to take it, but if not, I'll take it. So it's Google keeps evolving how dealerships show up in maps. What are the biggest changes we should be paying attention to right now, and how do we stay ahead of them? Either one want to take that? I'll take it if not. You want Maps? I'll take it.
Yeah, you can take it.
All right. When it comes to Google specifically, they are still looking at the same signal. I did a little bit of research that they were with SEO, but the consistency of signal is a lot more important. There's a potential that Maps will remove the departmental ability. So a lot of people have we're seeing signs of this in some of their beta stuff where they're no longer showing departments down to like the service and the fixed op stuff. So, your signals to that main Google business profile are becoming even more important. Is the phone number matched somewhere on the website? Is the address matched exactly on the website? Are the reviews matched up to the reviews that are signaling on the key pages about us on the website? That one-to-one match is a lot of authority. So that kind of like the speed of transparency and trust is really, really clear. So then also when you talk about the Reddits or the social signals that are also saying the same exact thing are extremely important. The speed at which an AI can validate one source against the other is something that we've never seen in the past. You used to be able to go, nope, that one source is the authority. The authority has to be matrixed a lot of different inference because AI is inference. AI is not exact. So like when it comes to historical keyword search, you would go, I want to rank for F-150s near me in this city, and that keyword match would roll up into your SERP, right? We're not matching for exact keyword anymore. We're matching for inference on phrase. So inference is best when multiple sources match the data, and so that inference has a much better model to touch on. So that got a little bit nerd-y, but I'll give you that. So hold on. Do I have any more questions?
It's all kind of nerdy. It's like necessity that we get nerdy.
We got to get nerdy. Just a little bit nerdy. Where did my question? I don't think I have any more questions on here. All right, so I have one more question here that I wrote down because I didn't want to forget it here. For both of you, if a vendor walks into your dealership and guarantees LLM visibility or wants you to pay for only AI search, what's the next question that you ask them?
I need like absolute hard reality data showing me that's true because that is a topic because of all of the GMs and the people at the store calling me saying, why didn't I show up in the LLM? That's what it is we need to learn about. How do we show up? And I think there's some cool things being built that would potentially be able to show that. But I haven't seen anything yet that really has that capability because my understanding is it's just not available yet. It's just not real yet. It's not true yet.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So where would you pivot the focus then?
Yeah. So, I mean, immediately I would ask how are you going to do that, right? Gary, to your point, like show me hard data, because everything that we're seeing and what we just discussed here today is that it is still emerging, evolving, and nothing is certain because of how personalized every single, LLM experience is for each individual in this room. So you're never going to get that certainty or guarantee until I think the large language models open up through APIs exactly what those, responses are and what those queries are that each individual user is doing.
And like even the product you have on prompt is like you're using the AI to learn what the AI is doing, right?
Exactly,
like you're sending prompts in and you're getting an answer and then you're bringing that back and saying, here's what's happening. But
right.
Everybody's going to have a different conversation inside, an AI chat. And how do you wrap your head around?
You have to start somewhere, though. You have to at least understand at a baseline.
This is like buying ads on Google in 2004, right? Did you start? Yeah.
Right. Like, am I visible or not? And what can I do? What strategies can I put in place? How can I, is my Google business profile up to date, right? When's the last time I looked at that? Do I have new, fresh content on my website? How can I manage my reviews out there better, right? So it's just, those, I think, are some of the ways in which you can increase your visibility. Am I guaranteeing it? No, please don't come to me and say Tina's guaranteeing this. But I think we have to start somewhere and start turning the dials and seeing what's really working.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, a day ago, ChatGPT is going to release out of beta their full platform for ads, and we're all screwed. Hey, thanks to these two. They fought a challenging topic. Give them a hand. They'll be around this afternoon. Thank you all. There's another session in 15 minutes, and enjoy your afternoon.